Hey, what is going on, guys, and welcome back to another Borderlands 3 build video. Today I am bringing you guys a Fadeaway Flak build. This is the fourth time I have recorded this. Hopefully I don't forget to say anything. But anyway, like I said, today we're going to be going over Fadeaway Flak. I was originally going to make another version of the Flak video that I already uploaded. Basically just an updated version build for all of the different skill trees, but that video would have been monumentally long, and I have been non-stop farming for gear ever since the DLC came out. I figured it'd be better to just break it down into separate videos, that way I can talk about it a little bit more, although I don't want to bombard you guys with a bunch of information that you probably already know if you do play Flak, if you're familiar with Flak at all. So I'm just going to be quickly going over the gear, explaining why I chose these different pieces as well as the skill trees, and kind of tell you why I prefer certain skills over others, but I'm not going to go super in detail about every single skill point because nobody really wants to watch that. But anyway, let's get started with the gear. So, of course, for a Fadeaway Flak build, the center of attention is going to be the Stagecoach. So this is a Dastardly Stagecoach, 25 pellets with a consecutive hits anointment. This is where I have been. This is what I have been farming for several days straight, and I've barely slept. The reason why the consecutive hit anointment is so popular currently is because of the brand new artifact that came out with the DLC Guns, Love, and Tentacles, and that is the Pearl of Ineffable Knowledge. So I'm going to quickly go over this artifact. It says consecutive successful hits grant 1% increased damage per hit up to 15 times. At maximum stacks, add an additional 20% damage. What this essentially means is that after you hit people 15 times, you'll get a 35% damage bonus. Now, that is actually a lie. You get way more. So this has quickly become the most reliable, most consistent source of damage from an artifact since like an elemental projector. Because other than a victory rush, there really aren't a whole lot of other artifacts that you can use, like for general use, like general use artifacts that just give you damage. This one does, and it's really good. So that combined with a consecutive hits anointment on your weapon makes for really good stacking power. Now, I want to make a note that the consecutive hits anointment says increases weapon damage by 1% per hit, misses remove all bonuses. That is completely false. I want to thank Ritor from Daquan's Discord for clarifying this to me, but the consecutive hits anointment does not actually remove all the bonuses whenever you miss. It only removes all the bonuses when you've spent more than 1 second without doing any kind of damage. However, something that this doesn't state either is that any kind of damage will stack this. This includes dot damage, grenade damage, pet damage, anything. Any kind of tick of damage that you do on an enemy will continue to stack this and prevent you from decaying your weapon damage buffs. Which is incredible, and that is a reason why you definitely need elemental anointments on your grenade and shield, so you can have 2 different kinds of probable procs on your enemies. So consecutive hit anointments on a 25 pellet damage weapon, combined with 2 elemental ASC on gear, plus the consecutive damage bonuses and stacks, from the Pearl of Ineffable Knowledge artifact, is pretty insane damage. So this is going to be your main weapon, like I said, and I just quickly wanted to go over that. Of course, the stacking and everything isn't exactly necessary. It is a little bit overkill, I will be honest. So if you don't really feel like stacking or you don't like it, you can definitely use an ASC Stagecoach instead. But moving on, aside from this, I always like having a sort of mid-range secondary mobbing weapon, and for this build I chose the Love Drill. This is essentially like a weird mix between a Masher and a Unforgiven. It has a ridiculous crit hit damage bonus, and it does a bunch of damage. So this weapon is actually like a weird-ass combination of a bunch of different Jacob's weapons. It refunds bullets to the clip on hit, on critical, so you can kind of keep shooting infinitely, and whenever you're in Fadeaway, you won't actually consume any ammo with this thing. However, for some reason, it seems to have like a cooldown on the ammo refresh, so if you shoot it way too fast, like this, you know, you're not going to get all the ammo back all the time, and you're actually going to run out of ammo before it comes back into your clip. Now, I don't know if it's because I'm missing, but right there, it didn't really look like I was missing that much. But as you can see, it doesn't come back instantly. This also has another passive to do double damage as shock, which is really, really nice, especially in the takedown, because in this slot I would have normally just used a Maggie. So the weapons fit a very similar purpose. I still love the Maggie to death. I still think it's like my favorite weapon in the entire series, because I've used it ever since Borderlands 2 and pre-sequel, and now this. But the love drill is pretty damn good, and just for the sake of variety, you know? I like having like something that's similar, but just different enough for me to feel like I actually am doing different things. You can alternatively also use the little Yeety, but I don't like it as much as the love drill or the Maggie. For bossing, I'm going to recommend the Unseen Threat. There's a lot of really good bossing snipers right now. The Skullmasher is another example. I do have a Skullmasher down here. So both of these are pretty interchangeable, to be honest. I just personally like the Unseen Threat more. I feel like it does way more single target damage. Like, it's just insane. Because for all the bosses that you don't want to use the Stagecoach on, or don't like using the Stagecoach on, you're just going to use a Hedgehog. So all you need from a Hedgehog is the ×2 on it. That is extremely, extremely important. And you can try to get a ASC splash damage anointment that will greatly, greatly help you in one-shotting a lot of bosses. For my shield, I almost always use the Transformer shield. I just love this shield. It's really reliable. It's got a decent amount of capacity. It's got shock immunity. It turns shock into shield, so it gives you a lot of tankiness versus a variety of different enemies. It doesn't really have any kind of downside, and it also has a 40% bullet absorb chance, which is really, really good. So this is just basically my favorite shield in the game. If you are going to be rocking this as a one-shot build, you can also use the one-shotter shield, but I do not have a level 57 one-shotter shield, so I have to keep farming for those. I basically lost my damn mind and life farming for this Stagecoach, so I'm just going to give myself a little break before I go and get myself one-shotter shields, but this is a really good option. Another really good option is the Stopgap. Now this is the only Stopgap I have at the moment that's level 57, and the reason why I don't use it though is because, well, I like to use the Snowdrift artifact quite a lot. Helps me slide around and everything, move around really fast. I'm sure you guys know about how fun it is. Now, here's the problem, okay? This is an epilepsy warning, because this Stopgap, as you can see, it has the projecting shield forward version of it. I don't know what the hell to call it. Basically, whenever you spam slide, it just looks like this. And, yeah, like, this is actually painful. Like, I can feel my retinas burning off of my eyeballs. So yeah, that is why I don't use this Stopgap in particular. So, yeah. The stable grenade for Flak has always been the Hunter Seeker. This is going to do a decent amount of damage. It's also going to be bullets being shot out of this, so it's going to help you proc Leave No Trace and Head Count. Very, very good skills. And now especially, it's going to help you keep up your consecutive hit anointments on your weapons. The artifacts, I briefly mentioned the Snowdrift, but this one is basically your all-arounder class mod. Both of these are very, very, very good just general use class mods. One of them gives you sustain and mobility, and the other one gives you sustainable damage. Those are going to be my recommendations. Now for class mods, I use a Cosmic Stalker for mobbing. This is going to make your hunter kill skills insanely, insanely powerful. And for bossing, I use a Bounty Hunter, because this is going to allow me to proc those kill skills without having to actually get any kills. Now the stats on these two roles that I have right here are literally identical. These are max stat rolls with perfect friggin' levels. These class mods get me insanely hard. I'm just saying. In here, I also have a consecutive hits Maggie, as well as all of the elements. Well, not all the elements, but the three most important elements here. I have a Shock, Corrosive, and Fire. King/Queen's Call, all with consecutive hit anointments. These are really, really strong for bossing. The 7th Sense This one is good for bossing and for mobbing, and it's a really quick replacement for the Love Drill or the Maggie if you feel like it. And this is another beast, the Clairvoyance. This is easily one of my favorite Jacob's assault rifles, and it's also from the brand new Guns, Love, and Tentacles DLC. This thing does a crazy amount of damage, it's got decent range, rate of fire, everything. It's just a really good all-around weapon. Super easy to use, and I got a max damage variant with a consecutive hit anointment on it, so it's really, really strong. I don't know if I mentioned this already, I probably did, but I also have a ASC Stagecoach in here, which does more base damage, but it doesn't have the 10% critical hit damage bonus on it, and it does shoot slower than my consecutive hit Stagecoach, but for most situations, it is kind of better if you're going to be mobbing areas that don't have like a lot of ads in them. Basically, any situation where you wouldn't use the Pearl, where you would be using the Snowdrift Auto Idol, the ASC Stagecoach is probably better. And I also have a non-elemental hedgehog in here. Now guys, if you want all of this juicy stuff, I will be leaving my save down for download. This is something that was requested like a bajillion times in all my previous videos. So I will be leaving a link to download my save file in the description. But if you want to get your hands on these save files before I actually even make a video about them and put them on YouTube, be sure to join my Discord. A link is in the description as always. Now let's quickly go over the skill tree. I don't want to spend too long on this. The main feature of the level 57 level cap increase was the fact that now you can have the power inside as well as Megavore in one build with Flak. So that is what makes Fadeaway so insanely strong right now. But keep in mind that we do have to be at full health if we want the 50% increased damage bonus from the power inside. So we're going to pick up as much sustain as we possibly can, and that is why I picked up self-repairing system, 5 out of 5. This is going to give us a little bit of health regen. I don't really like this because it gives us more max health, which does mean we get more health regen, but at the same time more max health means we have to regenerate more to get to full HP. Not a huge fan of getting this, but this skill is completely worthless, and the more regen that we do have, the healthier our pet gets with one level of All My BFFs. This is going to give your pets 34% of your total health regeneration, which is a little bit, but it's more than nothing, you know? We also have Turn, Tail, and Run. This is going to give us a little bit of health regen whenever we're moving, as well as Rage and Recover. So after a kill, we're going to regenerate a decent bit of our missing health per second, which is really good. And we also have Sustain in both of the artifacts. So this one, obviously an Auto Idol, duh, it gives you health back. But the Pearl that I got dropped for me has health regen. So other than that, we picked up all the damage skills possible that we could get from this tree. So we have 5 out of 5 in Furious Attack. I picked up Lick the Wounds because, well, it's good, bro. You don't want it till you need it, basically. Like I said earlier, we're going to put 3 points into Turn, Tail, and Run, which not only gives us sustain, but it's also going to give you a decent amount of gun damage while you are standing still. The Fast and the Furious gives us a bunch more gun damage, as well as Hidden Machine. And in order to proc Hidden Machine, we are going to be using Not My Circus, as well as Fadeaway, obviously. So Not My Circus is going to allow us to help keep our pet alive with the damage reduction, combined with the health regen from All My BFFs, and the fact that it taunts people is going to allow us to proc Hidden Machine, so that's really, really good. And then to finally move down the tree and pick up the power inside, I put 2 points into Rage and Recover because, well, again, this gives us regen, and we just wanted to move down the tree, and this is just the best value out of any of those skills that we could have picked up. Obviously, we're going to want Unblinking Eye. This is a necessity for any kind of Fadeaway build. It just gives you way too much damage for you to ignore, and I highly recommend it. Now moving on to the red tree, we're going to pick up all the staple Flak skills like Leave No Trace and Head Count. This is going to allow you to get Fadeaway back, and we do not need Eager to Impress whatsoever. Now just to show you that you do not need Eager to Impress whatsoever to get your action skill instantly back, I'm just going to use Fadeaway here. Boom, 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 and then after that, 1, 2, and that's all you need. Literally 2 shots. You do not need to get any kills whatsoever. You just have to shoot, and a massive pellet weapon like this is going to get you that back pretty much instantly. After that, you're going to want Interplanetary Stalker for a lot more damage on a kill, as well as Hunter's Eye for a lot more critical damage and armor damage, which is really, really good for the takedown. I then maxed out the Most Dangerous Game, and then Big Game, which is going to buff up the Most Dangerous Game, as well as Interplanetary Stalker and Furious Attack. So this is a really, really strong skill to have, and this is going to give you a massive gun damage bonus that's going to last for about 6 minutes. Galactic Shadow is a no-brainer, it's just more crit damage, as well as Megavore. This is just 20% to crit, which is huge on something like the Stagecoach, because again, it just has so many friggin' pellets. You're guaranteed to get some crits in there, even when you don't hit the actual crit spot. With the last few points, I put them into Persistence Hunter. This is just a quality of life skill, and it also gives you a decent amount of gun damage, so that is the best bet. So this is how you get the most amount of damage out of a skill tree. The only thing you could change up for this is picking up Ambush Predator instead of Hunter's Eye. The reason why I don't pick up Ambush Predator over Hunter's Eye is because it is not as consistent as I would want it to. For a lot of fights, it's active because the distance is actually not very big that you need to keep from enemies. But I am a friggin' monkey. I do not play this game very smartly, and so enemies are always jumping on me and I'm always jumping on them, so I don't really get this to proc too often. But if you are going to be sniping, or if you can play from a little bit of a decent distance, definitely go ahead and pick up Ambush Predator. Before I forget, the pet that we are going to be using for this build, if you haven't noticed already, is the Gunslinger Jabber. Now there's a couple of reasons why we want this Jabber. The most important one is that look at how amazing he looks with flannel, bro. Tell me he does not look perfect. Anyway, the second very not important reason at all is the fact that he has a friggin' SMG. This allows you to keep up your consecutive hit anointment very, very easily because you can shoot enemies multiple times from a range. You don't have to wait for him to walk up and frickin' slap his stupid ass horn or frickin' slam his head against someone's knees to keep your anointment up. So this is insanely useful. And lastly, he does give you some crit damage, which is just really, really nice overall. And also, you know, we're using Fadeaway. It's in the green tree. He's from the green tree. It looks nice to have all the you know, stuff from the same tree. It's really cool, so I just really like that, and yeah, that's the main reason why, to be honest. Anyway guys, that is going to be my build setup for Flak, Fadeaway Flak. I don't really know what to call this build. It seems that everyone on YouTube calls their build stuff. I'm not gonna lie, I find a lot of them kind of cringe, or they're super basic, or they're like really edgy. I really have no idea what the hell to call this. I've been jokingly referring to this as Lumberjack Flak to my friends because of the flannel, but I don't think that really represents the build. So help me name this thing in the comments. There was a guy from my Discord who recommended Fish Food Flak, because you're gonna be feeding pellets or something. I can't remember, but the point is, I can't come up with a build for this, or build name, sorry. I've been calling it 3-tap Flak as well, because using the Hedgehog, you can pretty much 3-shot any boss in the game. You just stick 3 rockets and reload, and they instantly die. But yeah, leave a comment down below letting me know what you guys think I should call this build, if anything, really. I don't know if I'll actually start doing that. That seems kind of cringy to me, but you know, it's whatever. But anyway guys, that's gonna be it for today. Thank you to my patrons so very much for the support. I really appreciate it. And if you guys want to support me directly, a link to my Patreon is always in the description, so you guys can go ahead and click that and check that out. Again, I will be leaving a save file link in the description so you guys can download this and try it out for yourselves. But if you want to get early access to these save files, you can find them on my Discord in the Borderlands tab. A link to my Discord is in the description, as always. And I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care.